story of Andy Williams is one of the great stories of show business. This guy was born in Iowa, and he started singing when he was like 2, 3, 4 years old with his brothers. He became a regular on the Des Moines, Iowa radio station. He went to New York after doing a little work with Bing Crosby's radio show called Swingin' on a Star. And then he performed regularly on Steve Allen's Tonight Show. And after that, he just went on his own. He became one of the very earliest people to go to Branson, Missouri and open his own theater. He went there to see his friend Ray Stevens, who had just opened a theater there, and was so amazed at the talent that he started his own plans. He built a $12 million state-of-the-art theater, and he became the first non-country performer to have shows move into that then tiny town, and it soon became known as the live music capital of the world. Not bad. Andy Williams, this show is so full of great stars, and we'll be talking about what's coming up in the next segment, but I want to go through the thank you gifts that we have. The first thank you gift that we have for you for supporting public television, next to a great program, I think, by Andy Williams at his prime, as are all of his guests at their prime, is the CD Andy Williams 16 Most Requested Songs. That's at the $60 level. This is not of the concert, but listen to what's there. Canadian Sunset, his first huge hit. The Hawaiian Wedding Song, Can't You Get Used to Losing You. Red Roses for a Blue Lady, Dear Heart, Moon River. Moon River, by the way, he did as an album. It became his theme song. He never made a single of it, but it propelled his album into gold. Born Free, Danny Boy, Days of Wine and Roses, Emily, Sweet Memories, More, Maria, What Now My Love, the love theme from Romeo and Juliet, and The Impossible Dream. That's a nice CD. The VHS of this concert has so many big names: Bing Crosby, Sammy Davis Jr., Judy Garland, Phil Harris, Lena Horne, Pearl Bailey, Tony Bennett, Ray Charles, the Osmond Brothers, Peter, Paul and Mary, Simon and Garfunkel, the Williams Brothers. I missed a few. Johnny Mathis was one of them. That's at the $80 level. There's a lot of extra material in here. There's a lot of information, new interview segments with Johnny Mathis and Dave Cruzen, the Academy Award-winning composer and musical director of the Andy Williams Show from 1962 to 67. He played an important part in putting this show together. The CD and the VHS at the $120 level, that's our shopping list for this one. But remember, it's not about the thank you gifts. The thank you gifts are a reminder that are in your home, and every time you put them in the machine and sit back and enjoy some of this wonderful music, you'll remember the night that we spent together watching this program on KCTS and the wonderful time we had watching these great entertainers at the very height of their careers. You know, only PBS brings us to you, right? If it's of value to you, you want to call us right now, 1-800-443-1999. Wherever you are, you can become a member of this family, and we want you to, because you would be more than welcome. Call us.
Soon bells will be ringing. This is the moment.
It's true what George just said. This is the only kind of television station that will bring this to you. I mean, where else are you going to see Andy Williams with Bing Crosby, with Ray Charles? It's quite amazing. And we are here this evening. It's pretty straightforward. We are asking for financial support. There's no hidden agenda. There's no commercial interruptions. Yes, we have to interrupt with pledge drives because they're very important, because these programs do cost money. So that's why we're here, to ask you to support public television and KCTS in specific. So if you live in the state of Washington, if you live in Canada, everywhere from British Columbia all the way over to Newfoundland and Nova Scotia, and you are a viewer who appreciates this kind of thing, the kind of programs that you will not see anywhere else. And you also appreciate that there are no commercial interruptions, that you and your family are not being subjected to many, many minutes per hour of commercials. That's why we're here, straightforward, to ask for your financial support. Become a member, pledge tonight, 1-800-443-1999.
And the other reason that Jean and I are here is because we really believe in this effort. You know, if you are really connected to your community, it means that you are willing to step up and do something for it. And we all do things in our own way. This is an opportunity for you to say, well, I really do care about what's fed to us over the airways. And that's what KCTS is all about. The programming that you see here tonight and all the time comes from you. 75% of the money that is used to buy these programs produce these programs come from you, the members. Members all across North America. Remember, the Canadian dollar is at par as far as KCTS is concerned, so we want to hear from you. It's at par when you call and you say, yes, and I want the thank you gift as well. The only things that's not at par is the commitment. People who support Channel 9 are above par, not just Channel 9, KCTS, the international station. Be above par. Give us a call and do it now. Thank you.
You can look at KCTS and you see programming from British Columbia, about British Columbia.
My children get to watch programs that I'm glad they get to watch, and whether I'm Canadian or American, I don't think that really makes a difference. We're benefiting from the program just like our neighbors down south are.
Commercial television, they're after the bottom line. Programming kind of, you know, is a second thought, whereas public broadcasting, the bottom line is the programming.
If I had to choose between a pledge drive and watching countless commercials during the course of a day, or a pledge drive once every few months, I'd pick the pledge drive any time.
I like the idea that, you know, instead of paying for it with your advertising dollars, whatever, you're paying for it by watching it, you know. So I mean, it's totally reasonable. It's a user fee.
Definitely. I think that's worthwhile, and the direct way is, you know, really the best way, because in commercials you pay for it other ways. There's indirectly.
Andy Williams has always attracted tremendous talent wherever he goes, and this show is a classic example of that. You are seeing, if you go back to the 60s and 70s, even back into the 50s for that matter, but in the 60s and 70s, you are seeing the absolute cream of entertainment in this program. And I think I can prove that to you by just going through who's in the next section. But I was just looking at some of the regulars on the Andy Williams Show from 1962 to 1967. The good old days, remember that? Okay. The Osmond Brothers, Jonathan Winters, the New Christie Minstrels, the Good Time Singers, the Nick Castle Dancers. And then you go over here to some of his guests, and they're almost legion. There's people like Al Hurt and Lena Horne who will be on this program. Great, great talent. And of course, ending up that last segment was the great Ray Charles, who's really started his career right here in Seattle. From 1948 to 1950, he was 17 years old when he met a young man by the name of Quincy Jones, and they became lifelong friends. He was at 14th and Yesler. If you ever get to Seattle, go to 14th and Yesler. It was a rocking chair, it was called the rocking chair, and it was an upstairs room for illegal gambling. Apparently a visitor ran out of money gambling, came downstairs, heard Ray Charles. He said, I'm a record producer from Los Angeles. Come on down. He did. And as they say, they wrote the history book after that. Okay, coming up in part 2 of this concert, you know, you can almost go right to the very end of it, and you'll hit it pretty well. But it starts with, in the second segment, it will start with Roger Miller, who a lot of folks have forgotten, but he did one song called In the Summertime that once you hear it, you'll remember it. Simple Life with the great Pearl Bailey. Great Day with Lena Horne. And it ends up with a young lady singing Over the Rainbow, one Judy Garland. Pretty good? Stay with us. Enjoy.
Pick your best white orchid for her.